Hey there, future millionaires! Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to see you again. I genuinely hope you're having an amazing day, no matter where you're watching from around this incredible world of ours. Today, we need to talk about XRP. And wow, do I have some thoughts for you. Let's pull up that one-day chart real quick. We're sitting pretty at $2.60 right now. But here's what's driving me crazy. I'm seeing comments everywhere saying things like, "Oh no, XRP is crashing again." Really? We're down just 7 cents, and suddenly everyone thinks the world is ending. I'm literally watching people panic post saying, "That's it, I'm selling my XRP, this thing has definitely topped out." Come on, folks, just because we hit a tiny little speed bump, and I mean tiny. Everyone wants to bail on this cryptocurrency like it's about to disappear forever. Listen, I'm going to be straight with you right now. If you sold your XRP today out of fear, I guarantee you'll be scrambling to buy back in before this week is over. And guess what? I'm about to show you exactly why that's going to happen. Let's dive in. And check this out. Bitcoin just dropped back down to 113,000. Now, this shouldn't come as a shock to anyone who's been paying attention. We've got the Fed potentially cutting rates later today. And here's the thing. This is actually a pretty predictable pattern. We usually see this little dip right before rate cuts happen. Then boom, the rates get slashed and crypto starts bouncing back like a rocket. We literally saw this exact same playbook last month. But for some reason, people keep expecting something totally different to happen this time. I mean, come on. Here's where Bitcoin is really facing some headwinds right now, and this is important. You've got all these OG Bitcoin holders. I'm talking about people who've been sitting on their stash for years, finally deciding to cash out. And honestly, I can't blame them after the gains they've seen. On top of that, the ETF situation is getting pretty messy. Sure, you're seeing money flowing in, but the outflows are almost matching those inflows dollar for dollar. It's like watching a tug of war where nobody's really winning. But here's what I'm watching for. The moment Bitcoin flips green again, you're going to see that FOMO kick in hardcore. People will be scrambling to get back in. And between you and me, I don't think Bitcoin has hit its peak in this cycle. Not even close. I'm telling you, that peak is still on its way. Just you wait and see. Now, let's talk about what everyone's really watching today. We've got a 98% chance, and I mean 98%, that the Fed is going to cut rates by 25 basis points today. There's only a tiny 2% chance they'll surprise us with a 50 basis point cut. Here's the thing though, if Powell decides to go big and hits us with that 50 basis point cut, oh man, that would absolutely send everything into overdrive. The markets would go absolutely wild. But let's be realistic here. Pretty much everyone and their grandmother is expecting that standard 25 basis point move. Now, here's what I'm really hoping doesn't happen. And this is crucial. Powell better not get cold feet and leave rates exactly where they are. Because if he pulls a surprise move and keeps rates unchanged, yikes! I hate to say it, but we could be looking at a pretty nasty dump across the board. Nobody wants to see that happen, but we've got to be prepared for all scenarios, right? Now, some people out there are saying this whole rate cut thing is already baked into the price. Actually, I got this interesting perspective from James, and he's got a point here. He's basically saying we're in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. His theory goes like this. If the Fed cuts rates tomorrow, we might actually see a dump because everyone was expecting it anyway. But here's the kicker. If the Fed doesn't cut rates, well, then we're looking at an even harder dump. It's like we can't win either way, right? And you know what? I can actually see where he's coming from on this. There's definitely some logic there. But here's where I might disagree just a little bit. I'm looking at the market right now, and honestly, it feels like everyone's walking on eggshells. There's so much uncertainty about whether this rate cut is actually going to happen or not. So here's my take. If Powell does come through with that rate cut, I think we're going to see the markets breathe a huge sigh of relief and flip green pretty quickly. Sometimes the market just needs that confirmation, you know what I mean? But wait, there's more! And this could be the real game changer here. So get this, we've got Trump signing what's being called a complete deal with China this Thursday. And let me tell you, this has been confirmed as potentially huge bullish news for the markets. Think about it. If we get that Fed rate cut and this China deal goes smoothly, we could be looking at an absolutely explosive weekend for crypto and the entire market. I'm talking fireworks, people. Now, I've got to keep it real with you here. If something goes sideways at that meeting, if the deal falls through or there's drama, that's not going to be pretty for crypto at all. We could see some serious red across the board. But here's what I'm thinking. And call me optimistic. I really believe this China deal could be exactly what we need to get this market back on the right track. It's like the perfect 1-2 punch. Rate cuts plus positive trade news? That's a recipe for some serious momentum. We'll just have to sit tight and see how this whole thing plays out, but I'm genuinely excited about the possibilities here. Okay, so here's what's happening with the political drama. The Democrats just voted to keep the government shut down for the 13th time. Can you believe that? 13 times. Now, you've probably been hearing rumors about XRP ETFs getting approved by the SEC in the coming days. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but honestly, it's just not likely right now. As long as we've got this government shutdown dragging on, those XRP ETFs are stuck in limbo. We're probably looking at November before we see any real movement there. But here's the silver lining, and this is important. We absolutely know that alt season is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. This thing is going to happen, folks. Here's what's been driving me crazy, though. This cycle has been nothing but delay after delay after delay. I swear, it feels like we've been waiting forever. And you know what? This actually is the longest cycle we've ever experienced in crypto history. The frustrating part is, I think we're going to keep seeing these delays as long as the government stays closed. But here's the flip side. The moment that government reopens, boom, we're going to see some serious stability return to the market. And once that happens, we'll either get fresh dates for those XRP ETFs, or Gensler and the gang will just fast-track the whole approval process. Either way, good things are coming. One way or another, these ETFs are absolutely coming, people. There's no stopping this train. And speaking of momentum, boom, look at this. Every single live XRP ETF is showing green right now. We're talking double-digit gains across the entire board. Now tell me, who was it that said XRP had no momentum? Because I'd love to have a word with them right about now. This is exactly what I've been talking about. Here's what's really fascinating, though, and pay attention to this. While everyone's been sitting around arguing and debating whether XRP is worth it or not, guess what the big institutions have been doing? They've been quietly loading up their bags. Smart money never announces their moves, they just make them. And this is beautiful to watch because when you get that perfect storm, liquidity meeting legitimacy, the price has no choice but to follow conviction. It's like watching all the pieces finally fall into place. I'm telling you right now, this isn't just some random pump. This is the beginning of the next major phase for XRP. We're watching history unfold right before our eyes, and if you're still on the sidelines wondering if you should get in, well, the market is starting to answer that question for you. You know what really gets me? I keep seeing all these comments saying, there's no demand for XRP, nobody wants it. And I'm sitting here thinking, are we even looking at the same market? Because while everyone's busy complaining on social media about the price moving sideways or freaking out over every little pullback, guess what's happening behind the scenes? The smart money. I'm talking about major institutions. They're quietly stuffing their bags with XRP, and the proof is right here in front of us. Just look at these numbers. The XXRP Teucrium ETF is sitting pretty at $25.95. Volatility shares is cruising at $15.88, and it goes on and on. Every single one of these institutional products is showing double-digit gains right now. Double digits. While retail investors are panicking and posting doom and gloom, the institutions are literally printing money with XRP. This is such a perfect example of why you never want to follow the crowd's emotions. While everyone else is complaining, the big players are accumulating. It's honestly beautiful to watch if you know what you're looking for. So the next time someone tells you there's no demand for XRP, just point them to these ETF numbers. The institutions are voting with their wallets, and their vote is a resounding yes to XRP. The demand for XRP ETFs is absolutely massive right now. And here's something really interesting to think about. Even though XRP ETFs will probably be the very last ones to get approved, they're going to be the absolute biggest money movers when they finally do launch. I mean, think about it. Solana won't even come close to matching what XRP can do. And don't even get me started on meme coins like Litecoin. There's just no comparison here. Now, I keep seeing people everywhere saying just be patient, there are only a few days left. And honestly, I get why everyone's thinking that way. People are expecting these ETFs to magically go live even with the government completely shut down. But here's my reality check. I think we're going to be waiting until the government actually reopens before we see any real action. We've been down this road before, folks, and you know what? When it comes to XRP, it feels like there's always some kind of delay, doesn't it? It's like clockwork. Whether it's regulations, government issues, or just plain old bureaucracy. XRP always seems to get the wait your turn treatment. But here's the thing I want you to remember. Eventually, these ETFs will go live. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And when they do, that's when things are going to get really interesting. Okay, hold up. We've got some breaking news that could be absolutely huge. So get this. Ripple's application with the USOCC for their National Trust Bank license has been in review. And that 120-day review timeline? It's about to expire this Friday, October 31st. Halloween could turn out to be a real treat for XRP holders. Now here's where it gets really interesting. A lot of smart people in the space are saying we should expect this approval to come through any day now. And here's the kicker. If it does get approved, you might not hear about it right away. Word on the street is that Ripple could be saving this announcement for Swell, their big annual conference. Can you imagine the impact if they drop that bombshell at Swell? The timing would be absolutely perfect. And here's what's got me really excited. We've been seeing a ton of these banking licenses getting fast-tracked lately. It's like the regulatory floodgates are starting to open, and Ripple could be riding that wave. If this National Trust Bank license comes through, folks, that would be incredibly bullish for XRP moving forward. We're talking about Ripple becoming a legitimate, fully licensed bank in the United States. That's not just huge, that's game-changing.
All right, let me blow your mind with these numbers for a second. Back in 2017, we had just a few hundred coins in the crypto space. By 2021, that number jumped to a few thousand. But get this, in 2025, we're sitting at over 26 million different cryptocurrencies. 26 million! And people are scratching their heads wondering why we haven't seen a proper alt season yet. Well, there's your answer right there. Here's the thing though, and this might surprise you. Most people who invest in crypto never actually venture past the first page of any exchange. They stick to what they know, usually investing in the top 25 coins. So honestly, I'm not even sure how much of an impact all these random coins are really going to have on alt season. But here's what I am sure about. I still think XRP is going to be the absolute best performing asset when alt season finally kicks in. I mean, just look at that chart. XRP has hands down the most beautiful chart in all of crypto right now. We're talking about a setup that screams parabolic run. And here's the best part. There's literally nothing holding XRP back this time. No major regulatory clouds, no uncertainty. It's like all the stars are finally aligning. Now, once we get proper regulations in place, and they're coming, we're going back to just a few hundred legitimate coins. When that happens, you're going to see this massive bottleneck in the space. Brad Garlinghouse called it perfectly when he said it'll look like a black swan event. But the coins that survive that shakeout, those are going to be your real winners in crypto. So yeah, this flood of new coins might have a small impact on alt season, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be nearly as big as people are making it out to be. Okay, this is huge. The monthly alt season index just absolutely bottomed out, and you know what that means? History is about to repeat itself in the best way possible. Every single time we've seen this index hit rock bottom like this, alts have gone absolutely ballistic. We're talking parabolic pumps that make people's jaws drop. And look, you can literally see it right there on the chart. It's like clockwork. Every time we get that deep dip in the index, what happens next? Boom! A massive move upward that catches everyone off guard. I'm telling you right now, we're going to see the exact same pattern play out very soon. And once it does, we're going straight into full-blown alt season mode. Now, I've been seeing a ton of people lately saying, Bitcoin's done. The Bitcoin cycle is over. It's winding down. And honestly, I think they're jumping the gun here. I still believe, and hear me out on this, there's one more absolutely massive move left in Bitcoin. One more big push that's going to surprise a lot of people. And here's the beautiful part. When Bitcoin makes that final explosive move upward, it's not going alone. It's going to drag the entire crypto market up with it. That's when things are going to get really wild, folks. Bitcoin leads, alts follow, and everyone wins. The setup is just too perfect right now. And then boom, we dive straight into alt season. But check this out. XRP is absolutely taking South Korea by storm right now. The bid volume over there is going through the roof. I'm talking about serious money flooding in, and all eyes are locked on XRP making a monster run to somewhere between $4.50 and $5. Can you imagine? Here's what's really exciting. South Korean traders are absolutely going crazy for XRP right now. They're not just buying a little bit here and there, they're fueling a massive surge. Upbit, which is their biggest exchange, just ranked XRP as the #1 most traded asset on their platform. #1! And when you look at the price action, it's painting such a beautiful picture. We keep seeing these higher lows forming, which is exactly what you want to see in a healthy uptrend. It's like watching the perfect setup unfold right before our eyes. This bullish momentum is pointing to something really special. We could be looking at a genuine breakout that pushes XRP all the way up to that $4.50 to $5 range. And honestly, with the way South Korean traders are backing this thing, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it happen sooner than anyone expects. The energy coming out of South Korea right now is just incredible. They're really leading the charge on this XRP surge. You know what's been absolutely incredible to watch? XRP has been absolutely crushing it on Upbit throughout this entire cycle. I mean, seriously. Every time we check in on what's happening over in South Korea, XRP is just dominating those trading charts. It's been such a consistent powerhouse on that exchange, and honestly, I don't see any reason why that momentum is going to slow down anytime soon. If anything, I expect this trend to keep getting stronger. South Korean traders clearly know something good when they see it, and they've been backing XRP hard. Listen, the chart isn't just telling us a story, it's practically screaming at us. And you know what they say, history has this funny way of repeating itself in crypto. But here's what's got me really fired up. This breakout that's coming, it's not going to be some gentle, slow climb. We're talking about something absolutely explosive, something violent in the best possible way. XRP has just stepped into a phase that honestly, I don't think most people are mentally prepared for. The signs are all there, clear as day, but so many traders are going to miss it because they're not paying attention to what the chart is actually telling them. So here's my question for you. Are you seeing this pattern that's developing right in front of us? Or are you going to be one of those people who realizes what was happening only after it's already too late? Because trust me, when this thing breaks out, there's not going to be time to think about it. You're either going to be ready for the ride, or you're going to be watching from the sidelines wishing you had paid attention to what the chart was screaming at you all along. All right, check out this chart. This analyst is predicting XRP could hit $589, and I know that sounds absolutely insane. Now, personally, I think we could definitely see XRP reach 3 digits. But here's the thing. If you look at his chart analysis, it's basically saying we're still way back here in the early stages, just waiting for this massive move to actually happen. And you know what? I've been saying this exact same thing ever since the election. This isn't where we are in XRP's journey yet. We're still down here in the accumulation phase, patiently waiting for the real fireworks to begin. Now, can XRP actually hit numbers like $589? Honestly, nobody really knows for sure. I'm not going to sit here and promise you it's definitely going to happen, but I'm also not going to say it's impossible either. The truth is, it could possibly happen, and here's why we just don't know yet. We have no idea what those XRP ETF inflows are going to look like once they finally go live. That's the missing piece of the puzzle. Once we see real institutional money flowing in, we'll have a much better understanding of where XRP's ceiling really is. But here's what I do believe. I think we can absolutely hit 3 digits, and here's my reasoning. First, you've got the market cap multiplier effect. Then you add in those massive ETF inflows when they come. Plus, and this is huge, we might see some serious exchange scarcity this time around because all the XRP sitting on exchanges is literally disappearing right now. And once that price starts breaking out, oh man, you're going to see the most insane FOMO you've ever witnessed. Suddenly, everybody and their grandmother is going to need to own XRP. It's going to be like nothing we've seen before. That's exactly why I think XRP could end up being the biggest shocker of this entire bull run. But seriously, when you look at this chart right now, how could you possibly look at this setup and not think, you know what? Maybe I should be loading up on some XRP. I mean, come on, this chart looks absolutely phenomenal. And get this, even on the one-day chart, this little dip we're seeing, it's literally just a 7-cent move. 7 cents. And people are out here acting like the apocalypse is happening. I honestly don't get it. Plus, this pullback was totally expected before the potential Fed rate cut. It's textbook market behavior. But here's what I'm thinking.
If you panic sold today, you're probably going to be scrambling to buy back in by the end of this week when XRP starts climbing back toward that $3 mark. Because think about it. If Trump actually seals the deal with China, that's going to send crypto absolutely flying. And when you combine that with a Fed rate cut, we're looking at some seriously sweet price action heading into the weekend. Now, I always want to keep it real with you folks. Expect some volatility because something unexpected could always pop up and drag us down even further. But honestly, I'm feeling pretty optimistic that we're going to start climbing back up from here. We'll just have to see how everything unfolds. But in the meantime, you know what I always say. Stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. All right, everyone, that's a wrap on today's video. I want to give a huge thank you to each and every one of you for watching. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I genuinely appreciate all the support. I'll catch you in the next one. Have an incredible night, future millionaires.